So now we're finally here. We are now at the creme de la creme, what I view to be the ultimate Batman movie. Welcome to part 2 of the 300 subscriber special, reviewing all 3 of the Dark Knight movies. Now, I've glazed this movie more times than I can count, whether it be on my podcast or other Romecast, going on to Crimson Law's channel and talking about Batman in the very first ever fictionology, or just in general to anybody that I know. The Dark Knight is, by all intents and purposes, my favorite movie of all time. Now, I've been telling my friends that I've been putting off making this video because of the script, and because I wanted this script to be absolutely perfect for this video. I wanted this video to be the ultimate recollection, but the problem was that I was glazing this movie far too much, and I was not being objective or fair. So I'm going to do my best to give what I view to be a 10 out of 10 movie a fair and honest review. The reason that you know that this movie is going to be gas is because of the opening. It opens with a bank heist in broad daylight. It's our introduction to Joker and how insane Joker really is. Now, everybody says that the movie starts off right with a climax and that it doesn't stop from there. But actually, I kind of feel like there's a little bit of disagreement there. And it's not for the movie's detriment. However, it starts out rather slow because we get some establishing with Harvey Dent, and we get to see that Batman is having an impact on Gotham. We do see that criminals are running scared in one of the opening establishing shots. That just the sight of the bat signal is scaring the hell out of criminals. We see that Batman is having an effect on the city, and is to the point that the mob turns to Joker in their desperate ways, and basically we see that they're meeting out in broad daylight because they are scared that Batman will find them. And just while we're talking about the opening of the movie here, my brother has pointed this out, and it's kind of true. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I can't even deny that one. That one's kind of dumb. However, what I will say, continuing, is that the mob is worried because Batman has hit and taken like all of their money, basically, and Gordon and Batman are basically closing in on the mob, and therefore about to take out most organized crime within Gotham, right? So then Lau runs to Hong Kong, where he thinks that they won't have any jurisdiction and they will not be able to arrest him. And Batman goes after Lau, and it's after Lau goes to county, and after the attempt on Harvey Dent's life, everything after that, when Harvey gets when Harvey, or after the mayor gets shot at, and Gordon's and Gordon gets shot, after everything there, that's when the movie kicks it into high gear. But I would say it really, really, really starts when after Harvey reveals himself, pretending to be Batman, and then the epicness of the ensuing chase of Joker chasing Harvey's police escort truck, shooting at it, Batman returning, and then the interrogation scene, which I have made a separate video on in the past. You can feel free to go and take a look at that one if you would like to. It's kind of got a lot of views now. Anyway, so the best scene in film history, at least in my eyes, happens there. You can argue with the wall about that one. The interrogation scene has been looked at so many times by creative writers, people that do movies, scripts, you name it, everything. Any and everyone has seen that scene, and you cannot deny the iconicness, everything about that scene. But I'm not gonna glaze it, because overall, what goes on next, we get the death of Rachel Dawes, who I think, by the way, being played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, is a lot better in this one than Rachel was in the first movie. I also believe that there is more nuance between her and Bruce, and I kind of believe their relationship more in this movie. I don't know. But I also will say that I think that we get, and this is really a problem in the Dark Knight Rises. We'll get to that one in like a week or two, but I think another major problem is that we, in this movie, don't really get a whole lot of Batman. Now, granted, he is, like, he's there, but he's not there, if that makes sense. This is really a Joker movie, which I have no issue with. Also, though, it's a Batman movie, but it's not a Batman movie, if that makes sense to you all. The Dark Knight is a very expertly crafted crime thriller. It is a very well-written crime thriller that features Batman and features Batman characters. It's a very well-written story with some A-list acting, brilliant choreography, brilliant music, brilliant direction, but it's also not really a Batman movie. In the same way that you could argue that the Batman with Robert Pattinson is a Batman movie. This is a movie that features Batman in it, and I love it. I 100% love everything about The Dark Knight. My biggest gripe with it, though, that I've come to realize is that while I love Aaron Eckhart's performance as Two-Face, I think that he is phenomenal. I don't think that The Dark Knight needed a second villain. It was already good enough without it. I do not think that the Dark Knight needed a second villain. However, that was a trend at the time, because if you guys have any memory, Spider-Man 3 did something similar the year prior, where they had 3 villains in one movie. The Rise of the Silver Surfer had 2. Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, if you want to be technical. They had 3. Galactus, we don't count that. But it was a trend around this time. I'm not trying to make an excuse for it, but that's just real. It was a trend around this time, and Batman, despite being the trendsetter, also, in ways, does follow trends. So, the one gripe that I have with this movie is that I low-key think, this, with what we get later, I would rewrite the script to have it be that we just cut out. As much as I love the acting and the final scene from Gordon, you can still get that with some reworking of the script, the speech that Gordon gives at the end of the Dark Knight about Batman being the hero that Gotham deserves. You can still do that, but what I would do is I would save Two-Face for the third movie. That's what I would have done. But it was very obvious that they had a plan for Heath Ledger's Joker to be a vital part of the final film. However, unfortunately, Heath Ledger passed away before this movie even came out, and we never got to see what Nolan had planned for that third movie. However, that is my one big gripe with The Dark Knight. I rewatch this movie all the time. consistently on my own. I am always watching this movie, and what I will say is that I think a lot of Batman's like aura formant shots, like him like gliding when he gets to Tokyo, him standing there in like the awning when Gordon's wife yells, asking if he's out there. Just like everything with the interrogation scene, the ferry scene with, Batman telling Joker that Gotham is ready to believe in in good. I I also want to make this perfectly clear. Joker is not an agent of chaos. I don't know why all of the sudden people think that Joker was telling the truth to Harvey. He's obviously lying. It was it was his way of corrupting him. Joker's not an agent of chaos. He planned everything out, and it almost all worked out for for him. Joker's main concept, his main plan in this movie, is for him to prove to Batman and to prove to Gotham that everyone is as ugly as him, that everyone is a monster like him. And what I love about the fairy scene is that you get to see the better side of humanity, the side of humanity that I think is still in the real world, just buried deep out there somewhere, where you see a fairy of innocent people given the chance to blow up a boat filled with prisoners, and vice versa. And ultimately, both sides decide not to blow the other boat up. It's beautiful. And Joker's disappointment is evident. And I love that scene almost as much, if not more, than the interrogation scene. Because that scene really proves to me what this story was trying to prove, which also is why when you get the Two-Face scene, it kind of does prove that Joker was right, that Joker won. Which I don't know. Shout out to my homie Crimson because I think that he's right. I like when stories do have a happy ending. But I'm trying to not judge this movie based off of the context of what we got in The Dark Knight Rises. I'm trying my hardest not to, and for the singular plot, for the singular story, it makes sense. Okay? I think that all of the actors are all doing A-list jobs. Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and his legendary "Watch the World Burn" line. Gary Oldman, Aaron Eckhart, Heath Ledger for the one scene that he's in, Cillian Murphy. They're all doing bang up jobs. Bang up jobs. Incredible jobs. The music. Bro, the score at the end, despite, and I know that you all are probably going to say, well, Roman doesn't like that scene. Oh, no, listen. I love the ending Two-Face scene. I just don't think that it serviced the plot of The Dark Knight. But I still love that scene. I love that scene. And the score is insane. The score is beautiful. And Joker, in the end, is not correct, but he does win. And it was supposed to build up to the final climatic battle between Batman and Joker in The Dark Knight Rises. And with The Dark Knight Rises as context, The Dark Knight's like a 9.9 out of 10, but I'm taking the context out. The Dark Knight is a 10 out of 10, y'all. So I thank you all for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. But really fast, if you're still here, listen, I'm going to be having some really hard financial times soon. So if you have even $1 to give per month to my Patreon, that would be awesome. If you can, you get videos a week early. You're going to get the Wrestling is Real podcast. You're going to be getting exclusive Let's Plays and clips, and you're going to be, currently, we just finished through Evangelion. Roland, Corey, and I are watching through Red versus Blue, and me, Muffler, and Roland are watching through Don to Don currently. You're gonna get movie nights. You're gonna get everything on Patreon for literally $1 a month. So if you have that dollar, please feel free to give it. If not, you don't have to. I love you guys. I'll see you for part 3 of this retrospective, The Dark Knight Rises. I love y'all. Peace.